My name is Savannah COF, and the topic I chose deals with professional sports and collegiate sports. And the reason why I chose this topic is because I always find myself arguing with my friends about which sport, professional or collegiate, is more entertaining to watch. So this brings me to my main claim that professional sports become careers once money comes into play and removes the interest of fans because of predictability. This causes more selfishness in the players compared to college athletes that play for the love of the game. And this is the main reason why I believe college games are more interesting to watch, because there are the two different motives for playing. My first secondary claim states that these leagues play for two different reasons. First, I would like to address the professional motives. Professional athletes have to sign contracts where they come to an agreement on how much money they will receive for playing a certain position or on a certain team. ESPN provides statistics showing that the New York Yankees is the highest paying salary providers. Alex Rodriguez is the highest payer being paid, earning up to $30 million in income yearly. And many people would wonder why Alex Rodriguez continues to stay with the Yankees, and to support this, I wonder if it had anything to do with the money. And then professionals play for endorsements. They must play well each game for the money they receive for fame, rather than just playing for the teammates and themselves. Many professionals believe they are worth a certain amount of money, and shows how selfish and greedy they can really be. Sports Illustrated interviewed Josh Smith from the Atlanta Hawks, who replied, I feel I bring a lot to the table. I have a lot of versatility. For what I do and what I give this ball club, I feel I'm worth the money. So this brings me to my second secondary claim, referring to college athletes and the arguments towards them. Many may propose the solution of paying collegiate athletes to reward them for their hard work. This proposition will completely change the incentive for the players and will take away from being a student athlete. So collegiate athletes do receive scholarships, but do not get paid for playing. The money they do receive is for the main objective, which is an education. I know college athletes, not all, receive money under the table, but those are the perks, not income. This is something that is not allowed by the schools, but cannot be stopped unless brought to court, and is not the reason these players go to college. I would like to share something that President Obama gave, an inspirational speech that shows, in my opinion, what a college athlete really is. So, this is him saying, "You didn't have a multi-million-dollar contract or huge endorsement deals. You woke up early, you put in countless hours of practice for the love of the game and for the pride of your school. You rode those buses and you carried those bags because you knew what it was going to be the best, and because every one of you has a competitive streak that's about a mile wide. And most impressive of all, you did this with shouldering a full load of classes, sometimes grabbing a few minutes to study in airports or locker rooms, because you understand that student athlete emphasizes student and not just athlete." So this brings me to my last claim. My last secondary claim involves why I believe college sports are more interesting to watch rather than professional sports. School pride is what gives the student athletes their motives. And I would like to use myself as a valid example to make this statement true. I was a student athlete in high school. I played sports all year long, and at one point I had 3 practices a day. I played varsity volleyball, ran varsity track, and played for a city club team. The reason I loved to play volleyball was because I enjoyed blocking people at the net and performing the victory chants after each block. I also loved to run track, not because I liked running, I actually hated it. I just loved the feeling of crossing that line and winning. I played these sports because I loved to be watched and cheered on by my school. It gave me a rush. My motives to play consisted of working out, being with my friends, doing what I love, and being that cool kid who walked on campus. So, to conclude my speech, I would like to show a perspective on why I believe college athletes are more interesting than professional athletes. I know the professional players do love the sport they play, but the money is what corrupts their performance. Thank you.
Right, well, the topic's clear, but the proposition, holy criminy, it's got 3 or 4 long sentences in it attached by commas with dependent clauses and multiple claims in it. That's got to be simplified. It's way too problematic. And I think that you need to make sure that it's a claim of fact, because there are a lot of value arguments built into that proposition as well. So that's problematic. I did think that you had a good structure for the argument. It's pretty simplistic. You divide it between the pros and the college, and then you have an additional third point that you get to later on. I do think that those secondary points, though, need to be labeled as declarative sentences. They are basically just narratives as you're presenting them, and they don't make an inference when you present them originally. I did think that you did an okay job signposting as you went along, but like I said, I do think they ought to be stated as claims. You get some personal credibility because you talk about your own experience, although you undermine that personal credibility a little bit because you have to read your own experience, which makes it a little strange. You should be talking to us a lot more at that point. You've got a couple of examples about people who make statements about their own personal worth. I'm not sure why Josh Smith is a bad person or playing for greed simply because he expresses that he believes that he's worth whatever he's being paid. I'm not sure that that implies that there's anything problematic or even more problematic with professional football than there is with, he's a basketball player, isn't he? Yeah. Okay, so professional basketball, then college basketball. And in fact, if you're going to use basketball for the example, a large number of college basketball players don't even stay for the 4 years that they get the opportunity. So I'm not sure why we should see them as being less motivated by greed than professionals are. You have a nice kind of generic quote from Obama, and I think that that's okay, explaining the idea and concept. I think it might have been more appropriate to use that as an attention device and then trying to develop some proof from particular cases and examples or some statistical information later on in the speech. All right, thank you.